There's a place in the world where people simply don't get sick, like the rest of the planet. They live past 100 with active bodies and sharp minds, and many of them have never taken a single pill for high blood pressure, diabetes, or cholesterol. And the most amazing part, science knows exactly where this place is, but almost no one is talking about the real secret behind it. This place is called Okinawa, a small island in southern Japan, and one of the most respected doctors in the region is Dr. Kenjiro Takahashi, a longevity specialist who, at 93 years old, still sees patients every day with the same energy and clarity he had when he started his practice over 60 years ago. But Dr. Kenjiro isn't your average doctor. He grew up listening to the wisdom of local healers. Over the years, he discovered a set of ancient habits that are now being confirmed by modern scientific studies. There's one thing all his centenarian patients have in common, and it's not in the heart or the brain. It's in the most overlooked part of the body, the gut. The truth is, 90% of modern diseases, like Alzheimer's, obesity, diabetes, depression, and even certain types of cancer, are directly linked to the condition of your gut microbiome. Sounds like an exaggeration? Science has already shown that we're only 10% human. The other 90% is made up of trillions of bacteria living in our bodies, most of them in the gut. And guess what? They control everything: your mood, your immune system, your digestion, and most importantly, your memory. Here's the shocking part. These chronic diseases didn't even exist 100 years ago. Yes, people died younger back then, but from infectious diseases. If they survived childhood, they could live for decades without high blood pressure, without diabetes, without Alzheimer's. Why? Because their gut microbiomes were intact. Everything started going downhill when antibiotics, pesticides, disinfectants, and ultra-processed foods began wiping out the good bacteria in our bodies. Today, people are afraid of dirt, but they're ignoring the fact that too much cleanliness might be killing us from the inside. That's why Dr. Kenjiro stands by a bold idea. Taking care of your gut is the new frontier of medicine. Because when your gut gets sick, everything else follows, including your brain. In this video, you'll discover the ancient Japanese habit that's been practiced for centuries in Okinawa, and how it can naturally restore your gut microbiome, how it may help reverse memory problems, digestive issues, and even joint pain, and how to rebuild your gut without extreme diets, expensive medications, or trendy supplements. But heads up, Dr. Kenjiro's secret goes against the grain. Many foods considered healthy today might be quietly wrecking your gut health without you realizing it. And at the end of this video, I'll share a traditional Japanese home recipe passed down for generations by Okinawa's longest living families and only recently revealed by modern science. If you're over 50 and feel like your energy is fading, your memory is slipping, your digestion is off, and your sleep isn't what it used to be, stick with me until the end. Because what you'll learn today might just transform your health from the inside out. And before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to the channel. That way, you won't miss the next videos filled with powerful discoveries about food, longevity, and brain health as you age with science-backed insights delivered in a way that's easy to understand and apply. Alright, let's dive into Dr. Kenjiro's secret. Dr. Haruki Nakamoto is 93 years old. And yes, he still treats patients every day in his tiny clinic in southern Okinawa. He walks slowly, but his mind is as sharp as a young medical student. For decades, he's observed a rare phenomenon: people living past 100 with health, memory, and independence fully intact. And according to him, the secret isn't found in modern medicine, but in an ancient habit that starts in the gut. Okinawa is globally recognized as a blue zone, one of the few regions on the planet where centenarians are not only common, but also active. But this isn't an isolated case. In places like Sardinia, Italy, Icaria, Greece, or the mountains of Georgia in the Caucasus, there are entire villages where most adults live well into their 90s with strong legs and sharp minds. These communities live almost completely cut off from modern life. No ultra-processed foods, no overuse of antibiotics, no pesticides or antibacterial soaps. And that changes everything. Why? Because in the past, humans didn't die from diabetes or Alzheimer's. They died young, mostly from infections. It was common for a woman to give birth to 15 children, with only 2 or 3 surviving into adulthood. But those who made it through that first filter of life often remained healthy for decades. They died old, but they died with clarity. Today, the opposite is happening. We live longer, yes, but we get sick early. And it has everything to do with what we're killing inside us. Our body is like a tropical rainforest complex, alive. And at the heart of this forest is an invisible ecosystem, the gut microbiome, made up of trillions of microorganisms. They digest food, train the immune system, produce neurotransmitters, and control silent inflammation. But this ecosystem is fragile. Imagine dropping a nuclear bomb into a rainforest. That's what happens every time you take a broad-spectrum antibiotic. It kills the bad bacteria, but also wipes out the good ones. And without them, the body begins to collapse. The gut becomes inflamed. Communication between the brain and the body breaks down. Diseases pop up like weeds, obesity, allergies, anxiety, memory loss. And it's not just antibiotics, antibacterial soaps, pesticides on your produce, preservatives, artificial sweeteners, all of it destroys the diversity of your microbiome. It's like replacing a forest with a desert. Even vaccines, though, they've saved millions of lives, deeply alter the way the immune system interacts with the environment. They teach the body to fight specific invaders, but reduce the natural training provided by gut microbes, especially during early childhood. And what about the appendix? For decades, doctors thought it was useless and removed it without a second thought. But now we know, the appendix is like a seed bank for your microbiome. When you get sick, it helps repopulate your gut with healthy bacteria. Removing it is like burning the last reserve of an endangered ecosystem. All of this brings us to a critical point. Modern medicine defeated infections, but in doing so, it opened the door to a new kind of epidemic, chronic and mental illnesses, and the invisible thread connecting it all is in your gut. Dr. Nakamoto witnessed this transformation firsthand. He watched his community grow sicker as modern lifestyles crept into the island. But he also saw something even more powerful. Those who kept to the old ways didn't just live longer, they didn't get sick. That's exactly what he began teaching. Small daily habits, unknown to the modern world, but deeply rooted in generations past. In the next section, you'll discover the first habit Dr. Nakamoto practices every day on, which he believes is the true reset button for gut and brain health. Fermentation is life, the living food that rebuilds your microbiome. Imagine your gut as a garden. If you take care of it, it flourishes with balance, fueling you with energy, optimism, and mental clarity. But if you neglect that garden, if it's flooded with toxins, it becomes barren, silently inflamed from the inside out. That's exactly what happens when your gut microbiome is weakened. And what feeds this garden? Living microorganisms. That's right, life that nurtures life. And among the world's longest living populations, like the Okinawans, this truth is taken seriously every single day. They regularly consume ancient fermented foods packed with living enzymes and beneficial bacteria. It's no coincidence that diseases like Alzheimer's, type 2 diabetes, and depression are incredibly rare there. And the most powerful of these foods is natto, a traditional dish made from fermented soybeans using the bacterium Bacillus subtilis. The smell is strong. The texture is sticky, but the effects are remarkable. Studies show that natto is rich in vitamin K2, which helps prevent arterial calcification. It also contains an enzyme called nattokinase, which improves circulation and lowers the risk of stroke, one of the top concerns among the elderly. Even more interesting, when natto is combined with brown rice or vegetables, it creates the perfect environment for good gut bacteria to thrive. In turn, these microbes produce neurotransmitters like serotonin and GABA, responsible for feelings of well-being and mental clarity. Yes, taking care of your gut is also taking care of your brain. This connection is known as the gut-brain axis, and it's one of the most promising fields in modern medicine. But don't worry, if you've never heard of natto or if it's hard to find, there are great alternatives. Homemade sauerkraut, water kefir, plain unsweetened yogurt, or even organic miso can be excellent options for rebuilding your gut flora. Here's a practical tip. Aim to eat 1 tablespoon of fermented food a day, preferably with meals. That way you're reseeding your gut with beneficial allies. A word of caution. If you have irritable bowel syndrome or inflammatory bowel disease, start with very small amounts and monitor how your body responds. And of course, talk to your doctor. But what happens if you ignore this? Well, you might keep taking vitamins and medications every day. But if your gut flora is damaged, nothing will be absorbed the way it should. You'll be feeding a body with no gardeners, and that's how silent diseases start to drain your energy over time. And if that worries you, stay with me, because the next habit is even more powerful. It doesn't require any special food, just a subtle shift in how you eat. Fasting from toxins, the window that clears your gut and sharpens your mind for centuries. Eastern wisdom has practiced something that only recently started gaining respect in Western medicine: the power of digestive rest. This isn't fasting as a trend, it's fasting for cleansing, for internal realignment, for physiological intelligence. In Okinawa, Dr. Kenji Tanaka teaches his patients an old Japanese saying, "Hara hachibu," which means eat until you're 80% full. Why is this so powerful? Because when you reduce the time your body spends digesting food, you give it the chance to do something just as important: clean itself from within. Think about your home. If you're constantly cooking, eating, and moving things around, do you ever have time to clean? Your body works the same way. If you're eating all day long from morning to night, your system becomes a warehouse of poorly eliminated toxins. And where do those toxins build up? In the gut, the liver, and even the brain. That's why so many people who start guided intermittent fasting, even gently, report greater mental clarity, less joint inflammation, a lighter, calmer gut, and even improved mood. But we're not talking about starving yourself or suddenly skipping meals. We're talking about shortening your eating window, a practice common in the world's blue zones like Sardinia, Loma Linda, and of course, Okinawa. The idea is simple. If you have breakfast at 8 a.m., try to eat lunch earlier and finish dinner by 6 p.m. That 14 to 16-hour window between dinner and breakfast the next day is enough to activate autophagy, your body's natural cellular cleanup system, which helps prevent neurodegenerative and inflammatory diseases. Important: if you're elderly, diabetic, or taking daily medications, talk to your doctor before starting any fasting routine. But when done with guidance and wisdom, this habit can transform your digestive, mental, and metabolic health. Now, what happens if you ignore this practice? Over time, your gut turns into a dumping ground for poorly digested waste. Your energy declines, your brain ages faster, and silent diseases quietly gain ground without you even noticing. But hold on, if you've already tried everything to improve your digestion and nothing worked, don't give up just yet. Tip number 5 might completely change the way you think about antibiotics, vaccines, and how we take care of our microbiome. Forest bathing, the Japanese therapy that regenerates body and mind amid city noise, screens, traffic, and concrete everywhere. When was the last time you were surrounded by silence? Trees, the scent of damp earth, and the sound of wind rustling through leaves. The Japanese have a word for this: shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing. More than just a walk in the woods, this is a scientifically validated therapy designed to restore your physical and mental balance. And Dr. Hiroshi Tanaka, yes, the Okinawan doctor we mentioned earlier, recommends this not just as a way to relax, but as a preventive treatment for modern diseases. So why does it work so well? Simple. The forest doesn't just calm you, it nourishes you. Trees release substances called phytoncides, natural antimicrobial compounds. When we inhale them, they activate our NK cells' natural killers, a powerful line of immune defense. It's like the forest is training your body to fight. And that's not all. Studies show that forest bathing lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, by up to 15%, reduces blood pressure, improves deep sleep, increases heart rate variability, a key indicator of cardiovascular health. And here's the most fascinating part: it helps regulate your gut microbiome by reducing chronic stress, which is one of the biggest enemies of good gut bacteria. And no, you don't need to live in Japan to feel the benefits. A tree-filled park, a garden with flowers, or even a wooded path near your home can work wonders. Just walk for 20 to 30 minutes in nature. No phone, no music, no rush. Breathe deeply, touch the leaves, feel the ground beneath your feet. This simple, free, accessible habit may be more powerful than many medications, and it comes with zero side effects. To ignore this kind of connection is like living in a sterile aquarium. You might survive, but you'll never truly thrive. And the next habit takes this connection even further. It's an ancient practice used by Japanese elders that not only strengthens your gut and boosts digestion, but also helps prevent diabetes and even slims your waistline. Curious, brain-feeding fibers, how prebiotics become natural medicine. Imagine for a moment that deep inside your gut lies a massive city, home to trillions of microscopic residents who eat, work, reproduce, and take care of you. But here's the catch. They only take care of you if you take care of them first. These residents are the beneficial bacteria in your microbiome, and what they eat determines whether they'll protect you or harm you. That's where prebiotics come in, and don't confuse them with probiotics, okay? Prebiotics are specific soluble fibers that feed your good bacteria, helping them grow and produce powerful anti-inflammatory compounds like the famous beauty. And it's not an exaggeration to say that these fibers can have a direct impact on your brain. How? Through the gut-brain axis, a kind of biological wireless connection, linking your digestive system to your central nervous system. What you eat directly affects how you think and feel. Studies show that people with a balanced microbiome are at lower risk for depression, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. And it all starts with what you put on your plate. Some of the best prebiotics include inulin, found in foods like artichokes, leeks, onions, and chicory root. Psyllium, a powerful fiber that aids digestion, promotes satiety and helps regulate blood sugar levels. Ancient roots such as yacon, raw sweet potato, and even yam, these have been used for centuries by traditional cultures and remain strong allies for gut health today. In fact, in the book 10% Human, scientist Alana Colin argues that most modern diseases begin with the disruption of this intestinal city. She warns that the loss of microbial diversity driven by industrial diets, antibiotics, and excessive hygiene may be one of the biggest threats to modern longevity. So, before you invest in expensive supplements, the advice is simple and powerful. Eat at least one serving of soluble fiber daily. Add psyllium to your breakfast. Enjoy a warm yacon root soup for dinner. Brew apple peel tea with cinnamon. This is more than nutrition, it's ancestral medicine. Now, what if I told you there's one specific food, rich in fiber, antioxidants, and healthy fats, that powers both your brain and your gut? And the best part, you can make it at home in under 10 minutes. I left a medicinal salmon recipe in the pinned comment section of this video. It might be the missing piece your body has been waiting for to restore gut and brain health. It's a gift, backed by science and made with simple ingredients you probably already have in your fridge. Go check it out below. And if you've tried to improve your diet but haven't seen great results, don't give up just yet, because the next habit might be exactly what you need. It involves a little-known practice that can literally squeeze toxins from your body and restore your intestinal balance. Ready? Dr. Kenji's golden tip: how to protect your body from the invisible effects of antibiotics and vaccines, according to Dr. Kenji. This is the most valuable habit, the one he calls the golden tip for living past 100 in good health. And he starts with a very clear warning. I'm not telling you to avoid antibiotics. I'm telling you to know when and how to use them. Antibiotics and vaccines have saved millions of lives. They were a turning point in modern medicine. Before them, even simple infections could be deadly. But here's the catch: they don't differentiate between enemies and allies. When you take antibiotics, it's not just the bad bacteria that are wiped out. Along with them, billions of beneficial gut bacteria are also destroyed. It's like dropping a bomb in your inner garden. And the worst part, that garden doesn't always grow back the same way. This is why many people today suffer from inflamed intestines, irritable bowel syndrome, allergies they never had before, or even depression and memory loss symptoms that often appear after a simple infection and a routine course of antibiotics. Vaccines, while extremely important, also cause a temporary immune shift that can disrupt the gut flora, especially in older adults who already have an imbalanced microbiome. So what can you do? This is where Dr. Kenji's wisdom and modern science comes into play. Before, during, and after taking antibiotics or getting vaccinated, you need to prepare your gut. Here's how. 1. Targeted probiotics like Lactobacillus, Rhamnosus, GG, or Saccharomyces boulardii, which can survive antibiotics and help restore balance. 2. Natural prebiotics like inulin, psyllium, and chicory to feed your good bacteria. 3. True fermented foods such as kefir, miso, natto, and sauerkraut. Fun fact, natto is one of the longevity secrets of Okinawan centenarians. 4. Light fasting within 24 hours. Post-vaccination with medical supervision can help reduce inflammation and ease the body's immune response. And of course, one of Dr. Kenji's go-to meals for his elderly patients: a gently cooked salmon with turmeric, ginger, and garlic, served alongside fermented vegetables. It's soothing, anti-inflammatory, and packed with nutrients that support both gut and brain health. Now tell me, which of these tips do you find hardest to apply in your daily life? Drop your answer in the comments, because your challenge might be the same one thousands of others are facing. And we're all here to help each other get through it. And hey, if you liked these science-based strategies to strengthen your gut, protect your brain, and live longer with more independence, you absolutely need to watch the next video on this channel. Brain is Dying. 5 Weird Signs of Brain Damage. In it, I reveal how a gut imbalance possibly triggered years ago by antibiotics or poor diet can show up in your body as strange symptoms like ringing in the ears or trembling hands. It's all connected, and it might explain a lot more than you think.